Good morning, millennials.
Welcome back to The Toast and happy Wednesday. It's hump day.
It's Wednesday. Claude, you want to see if we can make a W with our hands? I know we can.
Wait, how we would do it like that wouldn't even be a W, Jackie. It would be like a square.
We're just a couple of squares here.
It's hump day. Don't forget to hump someone you love. And speaking of somebody I love and who I'm hoping isn't too mad at me right now.
Why would I be mad at you?
Because I took the sweater from your closet and brought it home with me.
What sweater is that?
It's a Hatch maternity cardigan.
Oh my gosh, it's a staple in a pregnant lady's wardrobe. I would bequeath it to you. I'm glad that you took it.
Okay, because I've been wanting to wear it for a couple of days. I'm let me just soften the blow, not come back from her house and immediately show the spoils of my raid.
What's meant for you will find you. That sweater is meant for you. It was one of my favorite pregnancy staples. And
it's a little snug.
I'm glad it's made its way to you.
Thank you for your support and for not being angry with me. That's definitely a fun part about being pregnant. People really don't get angry with you.
But you also know a fun fact about me that I think is unexpected is that I love to share my things with people.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was thinking about that the other day. Because I was taking stock of my clothing and my life and all these beautiful things that I have, I really won't be able to get back into for quite some time. And how I kind of feel detached from these things that used to I felt kind of possessive over in a material way. And I'm oh, that must be where Jackie, because I think it was around the time where you really started being very generous with your things. You always lend people purses and beautiful jewelry and clothing. And I think it was also around the time where you started to have babies where you just feel less attached to these material things. And I'm definitely feeling that, but that's mostly because I don't fit into any of them.
Right. So now would you feel oh, I want Margot to wear this. I want so-and-so.
If Margot came over and one of my favorite dresses, I would be go.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And even now, I the most recent thing that I bought, if you wanted to wear it, you had the perfect occasion, I would joyously let you borrow it.
I'm feeling that way. Honestly, I am. And it for me, it's less out of the goodness of my heart and more so it's just sitting there.
Right. You know?
Mm-hmm. Before we dive in, would be RDH, not to mention the absolute biblical level of atrocities happening in Los Angeles right now. I feel I'm seeing so much stuff because so much happened overnight, but these wildfires that have literally ravaged entire communities. And I feel this happens, it's definitely seasonal. I feel we talk about it once a year, but this one definitely feels bigger and different and really scary and unstoppable. And it gives me such a pit because just the footage of it is so apocalyptic. It's literally things you see in a movie.
Yeah.
And it's so sad. And I know we have a lot of listeners who live in the area and who are either evacuating and you know what else? Whenever we talk about this, I feel in LA, it always also really highlights, because we're always reporting. I even saw this morning, so sad, Spencer and Heidi's entire house burned down. Mm-hmm. Obviously that's so sad, but they got out, their kids, they're okay. I feel it also really highlights the discrepancy between the rich and poor in LA, because literally these celebrities are out with their helicopters just
going
out
to their other house.
And then literally people who are in the hospital running on foot.
I know.
Abandoning cars on the highway. It makes me so sad, the discrepancy between what people live in that area. I mean, everywhere, but in LA specifically with all the celebrities.
And what their options are.
Such a pit.
Also for older people.
I know.
Just, it's really, really sad. Biblical is a good way to describe it because it's such a crazy scale and it's not being extinguished at the moment. It's raging. I don't know how long it will go on for. So really, I agree, thinking of them today. And even as we will talk about celebrities later in the show, that's kind of the big thing going on with celebrities, a lot of them evacuating their homes. And it's just a really terrible thing.
It really is. And just firefighters are the most brave people in the entire world. And I'm just praying for them and their families. And may this end swiftly.
Yeah, agreed.
Although it doesn't appear to be the case. So just wanted to it feels to open your phone and that's all I'm seeing.
Yeah.
This feels so trivial. So I just wanted to acknowledge that.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Seriously. And evacuate. If you're being told to evacuate, it's for a reason.
Right.
So important to listen to evacuation policy.
Yeah. So that's.
Oh, and not the mayor of LA being out of town. Yikes. Yeah. I'm just feeling actually recently targeting a lot of mayors, well, that's kind of my thing.
I feel sometimes people act politics, it's too big to understand, they can't actually change things on the ground, people act like that, but when it comes to mayors, it's no, you did that shit, you did or did not do that.
That happens a lot in New York, like
Right.
direct, but that's also the New York culture is to like whenever there's any inconvenience in your life, great or small, like it is always the mayor's fault. And I love that like as a community, we are always collectively like just blaming the mayor.
But like it is,
1,000%.
you know?
And it's like everyone, no matter what you do for a living, all walks of life, socioeconomic backgrounds, even the greatest of mayors like hate, you know?
No, but I feel like then when you're a good mayor, like if you could be a good mayor, I don't know why it's so hard for some people. Like it seems pretty common sense, some of the policies, but I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
I guess they have a hard time. Maybe they've
Who would you say like was the last good mayor of New York? Who like everybody agrees was good?
Oh, well, I mean, I think a lot of people think that Bloomberg was a good mayor, but like Giuliani was a great mayor.
Well, no, that was like a different time. But I think like Bloomberg, like everybody
the
like that was like
2000s.
yeah, it was the 80s. But with Bloomberg, like everybody now would like respects Bloomberg. His legacy is like pretty intact. Let me tell you, at the time,
He was
every
the
cab
worst
driver,
mayor.
every bodega owner under their breath, fucking Bloomberg. Like it's just a part of culture here. It's kind of really a beautiful bipartisan thing we all do that we hate the mayor.
Well, he was like a good mayor compared to what came next. But like at the time, like he was doing those little Times Square
No, let's not forget Bloomberg was the one who like wanted to ban the big sodas.
and he
What are
wanted
you
to
doing?
take salt off the tables. Like,
Yeah.
bruv,
Get a job. Get a job.
bruv, there's bigger things.
Yeah, it's so true.
And like salt, you see what they say about salt now. Like salt is good for you.
Can we talk about salt briefly?
Yeah.
It's so good. Like
It's so crazy how you can make a recipe, use thousands of ingredients, and you taste it, and it's like you just need salt.
Yeah, and I feel that like seasoning, and this is like it's also kind of, it happens a lot on social media, and it's like very racial where like white people don't like seasoning and like different cultures are
It's
more.
cultural.
Yeah, it is. And I just want to say like as a Jewish white person, and you know, obviously I'm not a cook or anything, like I think a lot of the times salt is sufficient.
Like salt
Honestly,
is
like,
enough.
it's Dayenu, it's enough.
I agree. And salt is like, used to be the oil of the world.
Natural. It's from the earth.
No, but it at one point was the biggest commodity. Before refrigerators, how did you keep food? Salt.
Is that true?
Yeah. It's like a
I literally never heard
preservative.
that. Okay, love that.
It could
It's pretty
preserve.
natural.
Yeah, no, it's just salt is rooted in history, and I feel like now it found its way
Cholesterol.
on a list of things that like we're not doing, but now it's coming back, and it's like in for 2025. I think.
Oh, I love that.
It was
I love
out
that.
for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And you know what else I'm seeing is in based on my algorithm? Cholesterol is in. Have you
Cholesterol's
heard that?
in.
Cholesterol is good
Well,
for you. They said one day it was bad for you, but like cholesterol is what like protects your brain, feeds your brain.
I have always been ahead of the trends, and genetically, like we all actually suffer from high cholesterol. Our father died of a heart attack, so I don't know how like him dying of a heart attack helps the argument for cholesterol, but whatever. It's a fluke. It's kind of makes sense that I would be so ahead of the trend.
And I'm just saying, like, this is what I've been seeing, and I actually don't seek it out. These are like the things that come up in my algorithm that I don't follow, and they're saying cholesterol is good for you. And I'm just repeating that and letting you know, like, I just saw it in a reel. A couple of
Like
them.
she doesn't have any like
Maybe that's not true, but I'm just letting you know, like,
there's a rumor going round.
that's what's swirling.
Okay, speaking of what's swirling, literally, I had a pelvic exam yesterday. My coccydynia is not solved. It's not healed. I have learned that I sit incorrectly, whatever. I'm going
Oh,
to
right.
physical therapy.
Claudia told me how we're supposed to sit.
I just want to say, I was
are we
trying to explain to the doctor. She was like, can you sit this way at work? And you hate to be obnoxious, being like, I'm actually being viewed by millions of people. So I was like, not really. A lot of my work is like on camera. She was like, oh, okay. But this is, if you're watching on YouTube, this is how she told me to sit. So if you ever see me sitting like this, just know I'm trying to survive, okay?
Spread them.
I'm not sitting like this.
So, like, for those listening, spread them.
You need to, she said, you really are supposed to, all human beings, not just pregnant, you are really supposed to be off your ass when you sit. All of your weight is supposed to be on the bottom of your thighs.
Let me tell
and
you.
You're supposed to be leaning forward and engaging your core, but most human beings tend to pull back and relax because of that core muscle. Like, who wants to be engaging their muscle while they're just trying to sit?
Your doctor would hate these chairs because they slope back. They're actually pushing us backwards. And
Yes.
maybe your coccydynia has ramped up since we've had these chairs because they're forcing us to sit even worse. And like any chair, it would be a struggle to sit the way that is proper. But this is making it worse 100%.
So, she prescribed me, well, not prescribed, referred me to a physical therapist. I'm going to do pelvic floor therapy, whatever.
Are you going to take your pants off?
Okay, so the lady before the doctor came in was like, take your pants off. and put this gown on. I was like, oh, okay, but it's my vagina. Like, I'm pregnant. So I was like, I needed to be really specific. I'm like, underwear as well? No. Thank God I asked. Like, people really need to be more specific.
We need to ask more questions.
We need to ask. And unfortunately, it's a lesson you have to learn the hard way, because you have to embarrass yourself once before every time you go to a doctor, a spa, anything. You say, what exactly am I taking? I literally was like, socks? ? I needed to know everything. But whatever. Towards the end, she wanted to feel my pelvic muscles. And did I tell you this?
You told me, but you haven't told the world.
Have you ever had your pelvic muscles checked?
I don't know. I can't distinguish. It's indistinguishable.
As a woman in my second trimester, like I'm not really that uncomfortable anymore with like certain things going on my vagina. Speculum, a probe, like it is what it is. This pelvic exam was different. It was quite intimate. I literally got fingered. Like, it was so crazy. Like, she put a latex glove on. And by the way, she did everything up to code book.
No, you're not.
She was asking, are you comfortable? Like, I'm not making an accusation. It's just what
it entails.
She put on a latex glove, and then the nurse lubricated just one finger. And she literally had to feel all the muscles like in your vagina, like up, down, left, right, northwest, south, like everything, like completely circular. Because there's like 8 different muscles on all the different walls of your vagina. And it was just like so intimate, you know?
Yeah.
And I have now gotten used to like foreign objects up there, medical devices, but a hand?
But as you say, foreign, not intimate.
Right. A hand is just kind of like husband's
What's
zone,
next,
you know?
penis?
Yeah. What's next? A penis. Exactly. So I have to say, she made me feel very comfortable. She's like A+ all around. Like I didn't know that there was any part of pregnancy that like you literally get fingered.
Yeah. Well, you know who's a really big pelvic floor advocate?
Wait, let me ask you one more question. Lauren Elizabeth.
Yes, she is. You should reach out.
I was thinking about her yesterday.
Reach out to your local influencer.
When they check your cervix dilated, hand, what do they use?
Hand.
Okay, so I'm getting ready.
Yeah, hand.
Cool.
Yeah. So you got answers, but they're not solutions that you can implement until you're done being pregnant.
No, she was like, listen, all these things I'm going to give you might help. When you're done being pregnant, like there's a whole host of things you can do. Like this problem will be solved. And I should have taken care of it before I got pregnant. But in the meantime, I'm starting physical therapy. She said it actually might really help or not at all. But even if it doesn't help at all, pelvic floor therapy is really good to do before labor. So it's fine.
Well, I'm glad that you are finding answers.
Oh, and then I tripped, like leaving the fucking doctor's office, like as I was waving goodbye. I was like, thank you so much. And I tripped. She was like, oh, be careful. And like, I wanted to die. Like I was wearing these stupid big platform Uggs.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Like I'm wearing them today. Oh my God, I really need to stop.
And Uggs are not snowshoes.
It ain't snowing.
I thought you said it was snowing in New York.
Like 3 days ago for like a couple of hours.
But there's not like snow on the ground? Oh, okay.
It didn't stick.
You really shouldn't wear Uggs.
My snow song obviously didn't work.
Damn, I'm sorry.
No, I have my moon boots for when it snows. So this is just like chilly. You know, it's 25 degrees today. Feels like 8.
It's very cold here as well too. I'm loving it.
It's very cold.
Like I can wear any coat I want. Any coat. Can you believe? It's like one day a year.
Like a coat closet in your house?
Yeah, I do. I do. And when I get to
where?
Across from the supplies closet, like next to the guest room. You probably never even saw it. We also keep luggage in there.
What's the supplies closet?
Next to the guest room.
I know. Like by the guest bathroom.
Yeah. There's 2 closets facing each other.
Cool. That's like a nice thing about moving out of a cold weather area. Like how much square footage I dedicate to like big puffer jackets.
Yeah.
I could build a whole other closet if I wanted to.
I should probably sell them, but I can't. I love them so much. And for the one day or like the one time you go to Utah or when I come to New York, like I want my pick of the litter. My neighbor though, she got rid of all of her coats. So I offered if she wanted to borrow one.
Yeah, that's definitely like a tough spot to be in because you grew up in New York. You've been collecting coats your whole life and coats are expensive.
Yeah, I love them and it's not posing an issue right now. So it's a problem for another day.
Did you watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills last night?
I did. I watched the last 2 episodes.
Me too.
And I enjoyed myself.
So did I. Actually have a lot of thoughts, even though like not much happened. Just want to say this to one Sutton Strack. One Camille Grammer. Like I don't remember a time in history where somebody's been a bigger loser on TV than Camille Grammer was at that party.
No, it was really odd. And I also want to say the second to last episode that came out a few weeks ago, I sat down to watch it like 3 separate times and I couldn't even make it through 30 seconds without just like getting distracted and moving on because they start with Jennifer Tilly in every episode. Like, I don't know why. I don't even know this person.
What is with the Jennifer Tilly agenda?
I don't know. Like, I don't mind her in the context of the show, but like opening with a Jennifer Tilly scene, I didn't realize Kyle was coming to her house until I made it through the full minute last night. But
and then Sutton.
Like starting with her and her dolls and her
I completely agree.
faux butler, I just like literally couldn't even make it through.
And every time like somebody asks her about something, whether it's like a material item, she always has to say how much it is. She's literally Dana 25,000. Like when she
except she's got this stuff to back it up.
Yeah, of course. But like, it's so obnoxious. Like when the Chucky doll was wearing a Gucci dress, Gucci, custom made, John Galliano. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, so if that was my friend, like that is the most annoying trait in a friend. Like just name droppery, like one-uppery.
Yeah. And is she going to show us the house that she lives in or just this other house for her dollhouse?
And I'm glad she addressed that because like she's so wealthy, everything she has is custom, and she was like in this little bungalow. I'm like, it's not adding up, even though it is in Bel Air. But her addressing that this was like her entertaining house and then like her dwelling for like lodging is down the road. I appreciated that.
So crazy. So yes, we will recap Beverly Hills
recap
at the end. We actually have a lot of really good stories that we need to discuss. I feel like you're going to be like, oh yeah, for everything. Because it's like,
okay, great.
There's a lot going on.
Kaya. That's really crazy. Like we need to discuss.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Without further ado, here are the Fast 5 stories that you need to know.
And the Fast 5 stories that you need to know are brought to you by Vivrel. It is the first of its kind luxury accessories members only club, providing members access to borrow designer handbags, jewelry, watches, and diamonds. Jackie and I are both Vivrel members. We talk about it on our Instagram all the time. It is the most brilliant thing because Jackie and I are girlies who like respect and love and acquire designer bags, but it's like a tough game to play, especially like in the really trendy space. And having a Vivrel membership where you can literally borrow designer bags, wear them, travel with them, return them, get another one. It is so brilliant. It's literally like, I feel like a premise from Sex and the City movie with Jennifer Hudson. It's so smart. So members can treat the Vivrel closet like their own. They can borrow anything within their tier that Vivrel also has no return dates, which I think is the best part. You don't have to return it by a certain date. Members can swap items once per month. They can keep items for as long as they'd like. And memberships start at $45 a month. Of course, if you use code TOAST, you can get to the top of the Vivrel waitlist and 30% off your first 4 months of membership. So it's hard to become a member. Like they try not to accept too many members, so bags are always available. It's really nice. So there is a wait list, but if you use code TOAST, you will get to the top of the wait list and get that 30% off your first 4 months discount. It is so brilliant. It's so good to have. It's so economical. I buy bags that like I wear a lot, but these kind of like fun, trendy. I just got this really sparkly Chanel bag from Vivrel. It's really more economical and just makes a lot more sense. So go to Vivrel.com and apply for a membership today using code TOAST for 30% off 4 months of membership. The code will also allow you to skip the Vivrel waitlist. That's VIVRELLE.com. Use code TOAST for 30% off 4 months of membership. Today's episode is also brought to you by Wild Grain, which is a company we've spoken about a lot here very organically. And now they're sponsoring the show, which I'm so excited about. They're the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. So Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable to your taste and dietary restrictions. In addition to their classic variety box, they recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Best of all is they take the hassle out of baking since all the items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less with no cleanup. So Jackie's obviously been on like this baking journey. And while I want to like follow in your footsteps, it's just not like feasible for me. I think a lot of people feel like me. One, like they just can't do it like time-wise. For me, I can't do it skill-wise. I just don't possess that. And Olivia gets Wild Grain, and every time she serves me her Wild Grain, it is so good. She used their sourdough dough. It's really fabulous to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep. You can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, pastries, and for a limited time, they're offering our listeners $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/toast to start your subscription. So that's free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/toast. That's wildgrain.com/TOAST, or you can use code TOAST at checkout.
I have also tried Wild Grain from Olivia. They have the most amazing chocolate chip cookies. Of course, their sourdough is amazing, and it's like a hack if you don't want to do the whole rigmarole but still have like fresh, healthy bread.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Seed. So Seed's DS-01 is formulated with 24 clinically and scientifically studied strains to support whole body benefits, including gut health, skin health, heart health, immune health, gut barrier integrity, gut microbiome balance, and micronutrient synthesis in just 2 capsules a day. So the DS-01 Daily Symbiotic from Seed is their best-selling product. If you've been looking to get into a prebiotic, a probiotic, for a million different reasons, I think a lot of people, especially in this day and age, are really concerned about their gut, and that's what draws a lot of people to Seed. But then all the other benefits of like your skin, your digestion, like so many things you'll really become obsessed with. It's formulated with strains clinically validated to reduce abdominal bloating and intermittent constipation after 2 weeks. It includes strains that are shown to support clearer, healthier looking skin in as little as 12 weeks. And it's loved by Seed members. 92% of members have recommended the DS-01 to a friend or a family member. It's shown to increase good gut bacteria by 4.6 times. So it's basically over 400%. And if you're looking to get into like a good routine this new year, Seed is so easy. 2 capsules. You can get ahead of the new year with a routine that helps you now by going to seed.com/toast. Use our code 25toast to get 25% off your first month. That's seed.com/toast, 25% off your first month of Seed's DS-01 Daily Symbiotic, which is their bestseller. I think it's their most popular product at seed.com, seed.com/TOAST. Our code is 25toast, 25TOAST, and it'll get you 25% off your first month of Seed's DS-01 Daily Symbiotic, seed.com/toast.
Thank you, /turt.
What can I say?
Our first story, I actually forgot about this story until you just mentioned it, and I had to bump something. That's how many like premium stories there are today.
Oh my God.
I know. Austin Butler and Kaya Gerber of Splitsville, no longer dating. TMZ has learned that Austin and Kaya have kicked off the new year with a new relationship status, single. Sources told TMZ that the couple ended their romantic relationship around the end of the year, which explains why he wasn't on Kaya's family trip to Mexico for the new year, even though like he would usually go, and the brother brought his girlfriend.
Climb.
Yeah, of course, he wouldn't miss it for the world. TMZ says there's no bad blood between the couple, just relationship ran its course after 3 good years together.
Yeah, I believe that. I don't think either one of them cheated, and I'm not like desperately surprised by this, or I'm definitely not upset. I think like the future holds great things for Kaya Gerber, and I do actually think that this relationship was starting to hold her back. Like at the height of Elvis, it was all good.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
She was dating Jacob Elordi, and then she hopped over to Austin, and they fell in love, and he was having this moment, and it was great. Mm-hmm. And we've spoken about this at length. I'm not going to, wax on about why I dislike Austin Butler just from like a personality perspective. He's never done anything to personally offend me, but I think that now he's like annoying. I think he's kind of like a little bit. This is going to sound mean. I feel like it's like a little bit of a joke. Everybody's just always making fun of like his voice and Elvis. I don't know. I feel as though he like squandered a little bit like that moment.
The momentum. Even though people said that he was in Dune 2. But I didn't see him at the Golden Globes table.
Yeah, I'm just saying he didn't pop off in the way that you would have expected somebody to after that type of moment with Elvis. So I feel that now Kaya Gerber can go on to do bigger and better things. And as like one of the world's leading models and Nepo babies, who you date is a huge part of your career. It is. It's fascinating to me. And I'm happy to lay this to rest.
I agree. I feel
Here
like
lies Shannon.
Just like we were talking about Zendaya and Tom and a little bit Kylie and Timothy, like at 3 years, like you're either marrying this person or you're breaking up with them. Same for our next story, which is Paige and Craig, which we'll get to. But like, yeah, when you're a certain age, if you don't see a future with this person, like even though we're having fun and I like you, like it's a breakup because you got to move on with your life.
And I remember the last time we were talking about Austin Butler, he was cast, remember we just were talking about that as a story. He was cast as someone.
Oh, psychopath.
Yeah. Patrick
American
Bateman.
Psycho.
Patrick, yeah.
But it's like Christian Bale.
Bates.
Patrick Bates, formerly played by Christian Bale.
Whatever, like a serial killer energy.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't want to be around for the method acting.
Well, not only that, but I had referred to her as his fiance. Like I did actually think that they were engaged. So they did reach this inflection point where like if you're not growing together, you're growing apart. And so this is actually not surprising to me at all.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about it. Sorry. And you know who else is happy about it? Even though I know she's like too busy being happy.
Olivia Jade.
No.
Vanessa.
Don't forget the Ann Hudgens. Like that to me is one of the greatest injustices in Hollywood. And I know she's moved on. She's literally married with a baby. I know she's like genuinely happy. But what was done to her?
You can be happy while also like being happy when the people who have wronged you fail.
It doesn't.
That doesn't make you
not
not a
healed.
happy person.
It's true. It doesn't mean you haven't moved on if you're like happy that the person who wronged you is now being wronged. Sorry, like that's life. I don't believe in like happiness for everyone. I'm healed. No, bitch, no. So I hope she's having a good day.
Yeah. Are you ready for our next story, which is some more Splitsville news? Because Craig Conover has spoken out about his split from Paige, and he is revealing more details, which is that she broke up with him. And previously, they didn't tell us who broke up with who. I assumed that he broke up with her. I felt like it was kind of mutual. I don't know why I had this idea in my head that they like were like, if we're not engaged by the end of the year, then we're going to break up because like it's 3 years now.
The way I had envisioned it was like mutual, but like definitely Paige's not wanting to progress. Like him basically being like, listen, I am at this point in my life, I want to get married and have kids and I want to do it with you. Her being like, I'm not there yet. And so them both being like, well, we're at a standstill. So I
feel like he was
surprised.
waiting. I feel like he was waiting for her. And I had thought that he got to a point where he couldn't wait any longer. I really thought it was like him because she would have kept doing what they were doing. But no, he didn't like give an ultimatum, it seems like, or anything. And then she broke up with him after Thanksgiving. Before the holidays, he said in his video that he was shocked. It was a bit shocking. Right before the holidays, I was very shocked. He said, it's okay. It takes two people to be in a relationship. You can't control other people. You can only control how you react to it. And so he said, remember to be kind to Paige and me and yourselves and all of that good stuff. I'm still processing everything, which is normal. 3-year relationship. It's your best friend who you talk to all day, every day. And then they're just gone.
No, let me tell you.
There's so much subtext here, don't you find?
Yes, definitely. I also, I've never been through like a breakup. And Paige and Craig feel like, they just kind of reminded me a lot of me and Ben, just like personality wise, like really nice guy, like girls, like funny and like bitchy and like, you know, strong personality. I mean, bitchy in a good way.
Right.
Not me comparing myself to Paige. And the video made me so sad. Like, yeah, that is literally like your life partner. You like, they literally lived together in multiple states, but it made me so sad. I've never experienced a breakup, and the way he was just talking about it, I was like, damn, that sucks.
No, when he's like sitting in front of the house that he built for Paige, like waiting for her to come home. On this season of Southern Charm, he says it multiple times to the point of like, are they playing the same soundbite over and over again? Or so he keeps saying the same thing where he says like, I built this oasis for Paige and I, an oasis away from the world. And now he's like there alone in the backyard is like made for, I think she helped like decorate it. It was their idea of an oasis, and now 50% of the person is gone.
And Paige had also spoken briefly on her podcast about the fallout from the breakup and just how like there's so many rumors about her. Nothing really bothers her, but the one thing she wanted to address is like people saying that she was like dating Marcello from SNL and cheated on Craig with him. And she's like, that's just not true. And I actually had to text Marcello because I felt so weird. Like, she's like, I had only texted him once before in my life. Like, I actually felt so weird. But you like want to apologize when like all this drama. He's like, I don't even know. She said like he might have a girlfriend. Like, I feel weird.
Yeah.
So rumor cleared.
I didn't think that for 1 second. I didn't even think that they knew each other. I'm sorry she even had his number. That's more than I would have guessed.
Well, it sounded like not out of the realm of possibility for me because he's friends with Hannah.
Oh, okay. So that's how they know.
So that's like the connection.
I don't think she cheated on Craig.
Of course she didn't.
Not with him. She also said, which I also found there was some subtext. She said, and no one in the situation defended me, which I thought was interesting. So I think she's trying to say like Craig should have said something.
Yeah, I think that like Craig now, not that it's getting contentious at all.
No, but I think this Craig video.
But I think Paige and her fans are perceiving this video as like trying to make Paige into the villain, like throwing her under the bus a little bit. And everyone's like, he's saying he was blindsided. But were you just blind? And then Craig and his fans being like, Craig is a victim. Like, look at him, sweet little man in his oasis. Another thing about, and I don't watch Southern Charm, but I know, especially when Craig came on the podcast and talked to us about how like he's really evolved past a lot of his castmates, just in terms of maturity and growth. And a lot of that had to do with being in a happy relationship and thinking about the future. And it pains me to like think about how he's kind of was in such a different place than so many of his like male friends from the show. And like, not that he's left them behind, but he's sort of
outgrown
a new life for himself. And now like he's in that life alone. Like is he gonna have to like crawl back to Austin and be like, let's go out.
Well, Austin and him, like, they have their disagreements, but they're always connected. They do a podcast together. You can't do that with someone that, like, you're not friends with. And I think even though now his, like, day-to-day might look a little different, like, I think he knows what he wants his life to look like. I don't think it will be a long time before he finds the person that wants the same things as him. Austin is in a serious relationship now, though. Like,
okay, wait, but you had said a couple of days ago that, like, you wouldn't be surprised if, like, a couple of months go by and these two realize that, like, it wasn't the right choice, yada, yada, because that's when we thought it was, like, amicable.
I don't feel that way anymore.
Mutual.
No, but the thing is, like, it was amicable and mutual, and I just don't feel that way anymore. I thought it was because, like, they had given themselves this timer, and if they hadn't made a decision, like, they knew it was best to move on. But I think it's more like what you said, where it was like, Paige,
it's not the person.
Maybe it's very close to being her person, but it's not the life that she wants. Like, that's not going to change. And now I do feel like the small things that they're saying, and I guess maybe it just goes to show there's no right way. There's no way to tell what happened without pissing the other person off a little bit, because, like, both of them have been so respectful in everything that they've said, and I could still see how the other one would be miffed by
it. Yes, but that's just even the best of breakups are impossible.
And then, of course, when you see that person, like, with the next person,
that's where it gets.
Yeah, that's why I don't like to speculate on who they would be with next. You know, Craig and Kaya and Paige and Austin Butler.
Craig and Kaya, Paige and Austin.
I do see it.
I see both. I don't even know which one I see more. Austin, like, okay, Paige, like, needs a guy like Austin, and Craig needs a girl like Kaya.
And Kaya kind of needs a guy like Craig. She's kind of a homebody. She's kind of a nerd.
Very, like, family first.
Yeah.
Very Hamish, salt of the earth energy. Even
Bookish.
Though I've literally never met her.
She likes to read.
Bookish. She read a book once, yeah.
And I think Austin would love Paige. And, like,
what's not to love?
Looks like his type, you know,
she looks like Kaya.
Yeah, she looks like Vanessa.
She looks like Vanessa.
And I think Paige would love Hollywood.
I think Hollywood would love Paige.
I agree.
What if we just
wife swap?
Yeah. But, you know, it does feel like a third big celebrity breakup is going to come at us. Like, these things happen in threes.
Okay, so then maybe we could add more names to the mix.
Let's cross our fingers. Who do we hope is next?
Who's dating?
Selena and Benny.
No, I like them together.
Okay. Sound off in the comments. Who do you want to break up next?
Or no, who do you think will break up next, whether you want them to or not?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, are you ready for our next story? Which is some tea. More fallout from the Brianna Grace chicken fry. Zach Bryan, like, just kicked the hornet's nest with this one.
Oh, wait, Zach Bryan?
No, like, this is what's made everything unfold the way that it has. Like, he kicked the hornet's nest, and now,
Oh, yeah, he didn't even know what he was doing when he broke up with Brown Chicken Fry. Like,
this most recent update.
Now it's not even about him.
No, this most recent update, though, is part of that story, because it all happened because of Zach Bryan.
It's a catalyst is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, that's why I say he kicked the hornet's nest.
I understand. Yes, I watched this whole video because, you know, how much money other podcasters make is my favorite subject in the world.
Agreed. She screen shared with me on FaceTime so I could see it.
I was like, Jackie, you have to watch this TikTok. I tried to download and send it to you, but Dave Portnoy's video was too long. Okay, so read the story.
Okay, so Dave Portnoy is setting the record straight on Grace O'Malley's exit from Barstool Sports. So a couple things happened in the last few weeks. Grace left Barstool. She left the podcast. We talked about that on the show.
Broke it down on, no, it was on Patreon.
Oh, okay. No, first her leaving, Pam Bree being over was on this show. Then on Patreon, she left Barstool, and she's actually doing a new podcast with Unwell, which is Alex Cooper's network. So that was just interesting, and she's going it on her own. No more Barstool for Paige, for Grace. And then she went on Theo Von's podcast this week, and she's talking about a lot of things, but among them, she was talking about how much she got paid at Barstool.
And so funny, because the clips that I had seen going around were her talking about Brianna. I didn't even see, like, actually any of the clips of her talking about how much she got paid at Barstool. And I actually thought her speaking about Brianna was really, like, it was respectful. Like, it felt like perhaps these two could come back. It wasn't like a knockdown, drag out. She really didn't say anything bad. The whole thing was just like kind of had a sad undertone to it. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even see the Barstool stuff until Dave posted this video because he was mad about some of the things Grace had said regarding her compensation package at Barstool.
Yes. Wait, I have it. I just want to pull the quote of what she said because she said she was talking about like her time at Barstool. Theo, she said that she made a salary. She didn't like just earn from the show.
She said she like made no money from her podcast. And then Theo pushed her, was like, well, you made like an annual salary. Well, you had an annual contract. And she was like, oh yeah, I had a salary. So it first made it sound like she was doing the work for free.
Right. And then he says, was it a good salary? She says, it was decent. My buddy was making a little bit more, a lot bit more, a whole shit ton more. And that's Brie. She's saying Brie was making a lot more than her. So Dave broke it down because that's like one thing that he's not. I guess
this is like one of his pet peeves. There is like a kind of a stereotype that like they don't pay their talent very well, and that if you work at Barstool, like you're taking a pay cut from if you were doing it anywhere else, like for yourself.
Yeah, because at Barstool, unlike other networks, at Barstool, if you do a podcast with them, it seems as though you get paid a salary, regardless of how big or small your podcast is, which is good for smaller creators because they're going to get paid even if their show's making no money. And then bigger people, like famously Call Her Daddy, might not don't make as much as they would if they own their show, but they're getting the benefits of Barstool marketing, promotion, advertising, sales.
It's a really interesting setup they have, and not a lot of. I actually don't know anyone else, any other media company that does it that way. They salary all their talent, which almost no talent makes a salary, and they also help facilitate brand deals for the talent on their social media, sponsorships at like different shows and stuff. And then they have like a rev share. So he had shared that Grace was getting 70% of her social media. I'm sure the bigger you are, the better contract you have, you can get 80, 90, but 70 is actually like
70 is pretty industry standard. And also the bigger you are, the more money that you are making. And so the more money you are earning, the 70% is just of a bigger pie. But anyways, he just said flat out, we paid Grace $175,000 a year to do the podcast. And then she also made 70% of anything we could sell her on. So social media, and roughly made an extra 75 that way for a net total of like $250,000 in the last year, which is a lot of money.
It is. And I think that people, I've seen like, you know, when I was reading the comments, it's like, oh my God, that's so much money. And then people being like $250,000 for an influencer. I think that a lot of people like see Grace now as she's nationally recognized, right? She's on Theo Von, like one of the biggest podcasts at the time. And this is what we were saying on Patreon that was so interesting. We're talking about Plan Brie, that podcast, like it's Call Her Daddy, right? It's really important to note at the time, it's a relatively small show. It's not unsuccessful. You can look at their numbers on YouTube, which I believe is their strongest platform. It wasn't like a gangbusters, million downloads per episode. It's a kind of, I want to say it's an average size podcast. So at the time, now seeing Grace, oh my God, making $250,000 a year, she's a bigger star than that. At the time, the work that you were doing and you get paid for like your output, which is Plan Brie, it was kind of a small, successful show, but small. $250 salary, like, and you know, no matter how bad or good the show
salary
does,
for the show.
Sorry. That's actually very good. If you were doing that podcast of that size at like another network where you just you keep everything you earn. I don't know their numbers, but based on what I think that they are, like you would be making less than that.
I agree. I was running some rough numbers, and for like a standard strong podcast, but not, you know, top 100, not top 200 maybe.
Yeah, like let's say they took Plan Brie to podcast one, they got a good deal. They had somebody selling ads for them. You get a rev share, you keep like most of your revenue, and they're splitting it.
Right, but they're also, what Dave was saying, yeah, her buddy Brie was making more because when Brie came to Barstool, she already had a lot of followers. She was an influencer. She was doing her show already. So she had a higher salary. As Brie told us, like she brought Grace into Barstool kind of like on the bottom floor of working your way up. So this is kind of her entry salary to be not 50%. The show's called Plan Brie. Like she's not even 50% of the show. So it's actually like really a good, generous deal. And
I was surprised.
Dave said, and then there's opportunity to make more money by selling your social media. And then Dave also said, typically Barstool talent can't do outside projects because they want to like commission it and sell it and this
Foster
and that.
It,
but she like went and started doing other things. And I think Dave
like
looked
stand-up comedy.
Yeah, Dave looked the other way because typically like that's not done. But I think he's actually really generous with people, even though they have a contract.
That he likes.
He just like kind of lets them break their contract a little bit. Like, he's not going to fight every battle. He's not going to like squeeze out every penny from someone. So he was also giving her like leeway to make more over here. And I feel like he feels like he was really generous with her. So for her to say that is just untrue. And it just really also harks back to Call Her Daddy for me, because at the time when Call Her Daddy went down, they were making $500,000, $500,000 each.
Well, that was the offer.
Right. But
remember their contracts? They were nobodies. They signed to Barstool for 3 years, and it was $65,000 a year.
Right. But then they made more. They had points on merch, and they wound up taking home like a bigger salary than that. But that was so insane because they were literally top 5 podcasts, all
they beat Joe Rogan every week,
all time. Like that. They didn't get a huge increase to keep them happy for what they were doing. Like the biggest podcast at Barstool. Like Plan B was not that. It was just like a good podcast at Barstool.
It was a mid-tier successful show.
I feel like she got paid was very commiserate with the work and not a low offer whatsoever.
No, I agree. And like you have to think about when you're an influencer and you decide to go to Barstool, you have to think about what you're getting from that, which is like a million eyeballs who never would have heard of you. But you're also giving up for sure different opportunities of being like a freelance influencer, going to whatever events you want, doing any brand deals you want. And so there is a little bit of a push
trade-off.
Yeah. And so I had thought that like you get when Dave made that video, I was like, oh damn, I wonder what he's gonna say. Cause it's probably like $50,000, $60,000 a year. Cause I knew what the Call Her Daddy girls had gotten. And I was shocked when he said 175. It's much more than I had thought, especially just that salary was to do the podcast.
Right. And then
so you know what a podcast that size can earn.
The only thing he didn't respond to, which I'm just curious, she said that she didn't make any money from the tour. They did their Plan B tour. He didn't even talk about it. But like, who earned those ticket sales? That all went to Barstool?
That goes to Barstool, but then he had said that one of Barstool's things they do is they sell sponsorships for live shows. So there was probably I think it was like Pirate Water, like that, something that sponsored their tour. I don't know why Grace wouldn't get a piece of that.
Yeah.
But she's the one like actively traveling and doing the work too.
Yeah, but also when you're salaried, whether you work more or work
part
less.
Of your job.
So like, here's the thing. She's doing tour, she's working more, but she's making the same salary. But the last few months of 2024, they weren't doing episodes of Plan B and she's still making the salary. So that's like the trade-off of being salaried is you get paid when you're doing more work or less work.
That's true, actually. And you also just think about like all the Barstool shows that do live podcasts. A lot of them do. Chicks in the Office, like the talent, the hosts don't get the ticket sales. You work for a big company.
Yeah.
I was thinking that maybe Brianna was getting the ticket sales. No, nobody was. They both were getting salaried and working for their company.
And I'm sure also everyone has different contracts. I imagine other like the Chicks in the Office do so many tours. I would be shocked.
No, and Chicks in the Office have been there for so long. They definitely have an amazing contract. Like they seem really happy.
They seem really happy.
Yeah. But they were, small potatoes at one point too. And they've work hard and they're the biggest female show at that.
I'd love to hear from them on this.
I know. I feel like they stay out of drama.
I feel like they do really well.
And that's been like huge to their benefit. Like there's so much Barstool drama. They never get involved. They show up every day and they do their jobs.
No, they get involved sometimes. I feel like they spoke on like Call Her Daddy stuff, but like I would love to hear how it went for them. Cause I feel like when they started their show and they were like interns, they probably weren't making a lot of money, but their show like grew and they've probably been growing with it. And I think it would be like a good just testament of the Barstool model.
Yeah. Well, wait, there was one more thing I wanted to say. Oh, I did feel now when we look at Grace and Brianna, like they're equals, right? In terms of fame, success, followers, engagement. Like they really are on equal playing fields. So for Grace to say on Theo Von, like my buddy was making a lot more than me, that's like so fucked up, right? And I'm glad that Dave addressed it. And it is kind of, it's misleading to say because the implication is that we were doing equal work and we were, of equal stature and equal size and equal followership and getting paid differently, which is inherently wrong. It's morally bankrupt to do. But that's not the case. It is now. But at the time when she was brought on, she was, I hate this word, but like before things went sour, she was very much like Brianna's like sidekick, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I hate that word. It's like, it's so derogatory. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. I mean like.
There are so many podcasts
support.
There are so many podcasts that have a host and then like, it's like Howard Stern and Robin.
Yeah.
Does she make the same as Howard Stern?
No, but they have like the same amount of airtime.
They're on this, but it's like, it's a Howard Stern show. It's the Plan B. Like,
exactly. It's support.
I would be shocked if Howard Stern and Robin made the same amount. Maybe they do. Yeah. That would be shocking.
like this saga, I feel like
Nick
this is
Viall
exactly
has like 5 cast of characters
Yeah.
on a show. Do they make the same as Nick Viall?
Viall Files.
No.
I feel like this is exactly what happened with Call Her Daddy. Every time we were like reporting on it, we were getting further and further away from the potential of these two
Reuniting. No.
reuniting. And this is technically between Grace and Dave, so maybe it doesn't impact the Brianna of it all. But Dave like really does a lot of the time speak on behalf of Brianna. And so I do feel we're getting further and further away.
Oh, something happened. I remember we said like on the show, if nothing more happens, like they'll be fine. But then something else happened. They're not coming back together. I actually started listening to Grace on Theo Von this morning. I didn't get to any of this stuff, but I think she's just completely moved on. She took her show off of Barstool. She's joined a new network. But what was surprising about that is I felt like every time they talked about the situation on BFF's pod, like Dave spoke really well of Grace and like was holding space for both of them working at the company and it being fine. So for her to like leave and do that and now say this, like now the blood is bad.
Yeah, between Dave and her. Like
I think
Brianna
so.
and her were always whatever, but you're right. And Dave actually said in his video that he was like pissed about what he saw on Theo Von and he texted Grace. I wish he told us how that conversation went, but he confronted her like directly.
Also, what Dave said, which I thought was also interesting, is that Grace was then supposed to do her own show at Barstool after Plan Break.
Yes.
And this was going to be the pay structure.
They had a role for her.
She was going to make $175,000 a year from her show. When Barstool
Same salary.
earned that exact money back from her show, she would get a cut of all revenue
50-50.
going forward, 50-50, which it's like, then she's operating like with no risk, only reward.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for production. As a podcaster, like everything, social clips, audio editing, studio rentals, that's all on you. And that's one of the benefits of working at Barstool is like you have access to the best tech in the world and you don't have to spend $1. Like, so it's like we were saying, it's push, pull, risk, reward. Like, yeah, you're giving up opportunities to do X, Y, and Z, but you don't have to take on the financial risk that is launching your own show.
But it seemed like for Grace, she wasn't even missing out on opportunities because she was doing the stuff that she wanted to do and nobody said anything.
Right. Dave was like, we let her do her stand up without like, intervening. I feel like what I took away from this saga, because I definitely was the type of person who thought like Barstool paid their employees like actual pennies on the dollar. Like my takeaway is that Barstool, not only salaries, but also like their pay structure. I didn't even know you could get a cut of your show once you earn back your salary. I feel like it's not such a bad deal. I always thought like if you went to Barstool, like you were giving up so much. You're literally not.
No, and you're gaining so much. And I guess until like, because we do it on our own and we like do all the...
We know how the numbers work.
No, and we know what it entails and like the things that they benefit from, just like the network, the distribution, ad sales, video editing, a million things. Until you like know what all of that is, I feel like you can't appreciate what Barstool does for people.
No, and I feel like there are some people who had shows at Barstool and then went on to do it outside. And we can't include Call Her Daddy in this conversation because the level that it got to was just as big as Barstool. So it kind of is like the exception to this conversation. Agreed. But people who just have had shows at Barstool and then have decided to either leave or do them on their own, like it's, I think, like a slap in the face when you leave and everything is your responsibility financially, but also like booking a studio, Yeah. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. I feel like also at Barstool, people like just like don't do the show for like a week or like something's like drama's happening, but like you're still getting paid when you're not at a network like that. Like if you don't do a show, you're not getting paid.
If you don't do a show, you don't get paid. It's true. Like that's actually, so much of this particular line of work, which is fabulous, I'm not complaining, is a little bit unstable. Like you earn as much as you earn and that's it. It's not like
you earn as much as you work.
Yeah. So to have like the creative freedom to do podcasts and Instagram stories, but also have a salary to fall back on, and I imagine health insurance. That's
health
crazy.
insurance.
Should we like get Barstool?
Don't
like,
even talk
it sounds
about
amazing.
The health insurance. Also,
Maternity
I'm sure they
leave?
have like in their contracts, you can't do zero. They probably have like episode minimums, but it just seems like someone's having like a hard month. We're not doing a podcast this month. We're taking
Actually,
the month
true.
off.
Like, even with Call Her Daddy, like they were protesting and they just stopped doing episodes.
Right.
Selpa, help us, remember?
Right. Help us.
I'm sorry, they were funny.
That was a crazy time.
That was one of the best times of my life, honestly. Like that was just seeing women in podcasting like take the world by storm, and then we had something to talk about every day.
Yeah.
Obviously us with like, our informed takes. Like that was just a crazy time.
Yeah. So the wind up here, Grace is doing it out on her own now.
I'm actually really curious. Well, she's been launched to a new level of stardom, so it would be an unfair comparison. But like, what is she making now? Like, with her stand-up comedy tour, which is super successful, a show she's going to launch, and then just like being an influencer. But she's much more famous now because of the scandal, so it wouldn't be a fair comparison, like 2025 to 2024 earnings.
Right. We'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. Are you ready for our next story? Number 4. Number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to
Fuck
go.
it.
I have to go to the bathroom. Let me know when would be a good time to do that.
Well, it's not really ever going to be a good time because you are one of our spokespeople today.
I know.
Okay, you know what? You go.
I'll go quick.
Today's episode of The Toast is brought to you by The Farmer's Dog. The Farmer's Dog is a premium brand, and if you care about your pets nearly as much as Jackie and I do, then you should check out The Farmer's Dog. When 2 dog lovers saw how much cooking fresh food helped their own dogs, they realized that dogs deserve better than what the pet food industry was providing. Introducing The Farmer's Dog. So this new year, healthy habits don't only need to apply to human beings. Give your dog a fresh start too. The Farmer's Dog makes feeding real healthy dog food easy and convenient, and your dog will absolutely love it. The pre-portioned meals are personalized for your dog's needs, which makes it simple to help your dog reach and maintain a healthy weight. If you ever thought about making the switch, now is the time. Jackie and I both have Cavaliers, and a huge part of keeping them alive longer is their weight. It's a big indicator they're predisposed to congenital heart issues. So making sure that they're eating well and staying trim and fit. That's why I'm always commenting on Bruno's weight, not to be obnoxious. It's really important, and the Farmer's Dog is a great tool for that. So what makes them so different is that their food was developed by on-staff board-certified vets and veterinary nutritionists to be complete and balanced. So it's made from human-grade real meat and veggies. They are gently cooked with safety and quality standards of human food. They deliver the food freshly made right to your door on a schedule that works for you. And the food is nutritionally complete for all life stages, including puppies. So get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food at thefarmersdog.com/toast. Plus, you're going to get free shipping only when you go to thefarmersdog.com/toast to get 50% off. That's thefarmersdog.com/toast. Today's episode is also brought to you by Dreamland Baby. Isn't that right, Jackie?
Yes, it is brought to you by Dreamland Baby, and I'm so excited to tell you about Dreamland Baby because Dreamland Baby is one of my favorite baby brands for so many different things. They are known for their weighted sleep sacks and sleep swaddles, which are so great for all stages of babyhood, and they have pajamas. They just it's a great place to stock up on everything. But their patented weighted sleep sack is what we use right now. But back in the day, we used the swaddles, which if you're swaddling your baby, you could do arms in, arms out, whatever's best for baby. But it's a weighted sack, so it has CoverCalm technology, which does for the baby what a weighted blanket would do for you. Reduces calm, promotes sleep, deeper sleep, which equals better, deeper sleep for you. So that we love so much. Dreamland Baby is having a great BOGO sale right now. So use our code TOAST site-wide on weighted and not weighted products. PJs, I love their PJs. They are that cozy material that you're always looking for babies. So use code TOAST at Dreamland Baby and stock up.
Thank you, Jackie. I'm looking forward to the day when I can do the Dreamland Baby ad reads. I plan on being a Dreamland Baby mama.
I love that for you.
Yeah, especially you were telling me about the zipper, like how it's a game changer.
Oh, yeah, it is a game changer that the zipping makes diaper changes in the middle of the night so much easier.
Right. Yeah. So that's going to be exciting for Ben when he does that.
He'll be doing Dreamland on Good Guys.
100%.
Our next story, a little more pay news. Nikki Glazer revealed her pay for the hosting the Golden Globes, and the Golden Globes wants her back, so she'll be making more next time. But here's the tea. The Roast Queen was paid a bit more than $400,000 for her stint hosting the Golden Globes. She said that the fee will rise significantly, a well-placed source said, not her, sorry, if and when she comes back to host the Globes for the 3rd year in the 5-year deal the Globes has with CBS.
Well, brilliant of her to use the momentum, all the positive feedback from this most recent event to cinch herself not only another deal, but one that I'm sure is more. I didn't realize that they paid hosts, honestly. I thought it was a gig you do for
the eyes, like the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But the Super Bowl is sponsored, so actually I believe you do get paid, like by Pepsi or Apple Music.
Oh, interesting. Are you sure?
That was just my thought. I don't think the NFL pays you, but I think if you're going to be out here promoting Pepsi, yeah.
Oh, I just feel like there's not enough money. Then we're talking 50, 100 million. Also, I wanted to see what Joe Coy made because I had heard that she made less than him, which is so unfair.
What?
Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me. That's so crazy because even though like he did a bad job and she did a good job, when they both booked this gig, Nikki Glaser was a bigger star than Joe Coy. Like she's a bigger get.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not seeing how much exactly he got paid.
No, the NFL does not pay artists directly for performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Instead, artists are paid on a union scale, which is a minimum wage guaranteed by a union contract like SAG-AFTRA. So contracts, you have to get paid at least like $1,000 a day for it to be legal. The NFL does cover all the costs associated with the show, including production and travel expenses. However, artists can still profit from the halftime show in other ways, like increased album sales, streaming, etc. So you're right. There is no fee.
Got it. Well, so Nikki was on Howard Stern and she like kind of recapped her time at the Globes. And what she had said was not Joe Coy then. This is what she said. I don't know why I just assumed it was him. She said there was a past host who said how much he got paid in his monologue and I got less than that, but that's okay. I'll get more next year, she said. She said, I feel well paid for what I do. I'm all right. Yeah, I agree. I thought it was going to be less than what I saw it was. So I'm like, for a night on the town, $400K, pretty good.
I feel better because like if it was like Jimmy Kimmel who said what he got paid, like for some reason Hollywood has decided to make him like an enormous star, even though I believe he's undeserving of that due to, lack of talent. So, but if he had gotten, let's say like, $750,000, okay, like fine.
Okay. So it was Gerard Carmichael who said at the 2023 Golden Globe said he was being paid $500,000.
Oh, that's interesting. Because like Gerard Carmichael is very funny, but he's really not taken off in the way that people thought he would when he got the Carmichael show. Like he's super talented, but in terms of like stardom, I would say Nikki is a much bigger star than he is.
Yeah. I just feel like the job is the same amount of work for everyone. So like people should get paid the same.
That's actually a really good point.
Right?
And then based on like your Q score afterwards, you should get a bonus.
Oh, yeah.
Did you suck?
So, she will probably do it again next year. She'll definitely get a bonus. Well earned.
I think that to negotiate herself a deal like 3 days after while people are still loving it, and Golden Globes has confirmed like she is returning, I wouldn't be surprised if they offered her like $750,000.
$1 million. Make it $1 million.
She's worth it.
She's gonna continue.
She's going to continue to do like amazing things this year because she has like so much momentum and wind at her back. So, and the thing about Nikki Glaser that's nice is like, if I had like a gig I needed to book someone for, it's always a risk. Like, are they going to do a good job? Not with Nikki. Like, even when I think she would consider herself like not having done the best job, like everybody would love it. She's just good at what she does.
Yeah.
But $400K, okay, not bad. Even though it's a lot of work, like a lot of rehearsals, a lot of writing.
Yes. Yeah. It's not just the night of. A lot of prep.
Right, it's not like a 4-hour gig.
A lot of prep goes into it. Are you ready for our fifth and final story?
Oh, devastating. Bidding is such sweet sorrow, but we do still have the TV recap, so yes.
Yes. Well, Scarlett Johansson will co-host NBC's Today with Jenna and Friends in January for 1 week. So as we move into the new year, Hoda is out. Jenna is looking for her replacement, and she's having Jenna with Friends. And Scarlett Jo is guesting for a week, perhaps auditioning. Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised considering this is surprising.
And this was just like adding fuel to the fire of a conspiracy theory that I saw on Twitter that Colin Jost and Scarlett Johansson are in debt. And honestly, when I was just talking about Pop Culture Jeopardy and how weird Colin Jost's presence is, them being in debt like actually makes a lot of sense. Like, what are these gigs these two are picking up?
So like him being in debt makes sense. Her, no.
So true. Like she's Transformers.
She's like
Avengers,
Marvel. She's the face of a million brands.
Yeah.
I feel like his job doesn't pay as much as he wants it to pay. And I think he's got he's got lofty dreams of how he should be living, I think.
Yeah, and maybe like marrying ScarJo wasn't enough.
Yeah, or maybe she's just not like open with the purse strings like he thought she would be.
This is weird because like,
but that doesn't explain why she's doing this.
Yeah, guest hosting the Today Show obviously like is prestigious, but it's kind of a like terrible gig. It's super early. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of criticism. For a lot of people, it's like a stepping stone. Somebody who's on the rise. This is a huge opportunity. I wouldn't say it's a huge opportunity for Scarlett Johansson. It's an opportunity for the Today Show. The fact that she's committed to this.
Yeah. It's interesting. Maybe it's just for a bit of fun, or maybe she wants the stability of like a daily gig.
Or her and JBH are like friends as like New Yorkers, and you're doing it as a favor to a friend.
Or she has like something big coming out and this will be like her week of press.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe.
Just to be sat at the Today Show. That's not bad.
who else are we throwing like names in for? I feel like you have to think about who lives in New York. And so that's another thing. I think they're definitely limited. Someone would come, but like somebody who lives and can come by like on a dime.
So here's who's co-hosting in this Jenna and Friends, but I don't know if that means it's an audition or just like we're having fun.
Stopping by.
Taraji P. Henson, Eva Longoria, Keke Palmer. Now, of course, Keke Palmer would be
Keke Palmer's
amazing
an
for the
audition.
job.
Keke Palmer's an audition, and Keke Palmer absolutely should get the job. She literally has done the job before. She was in like the 11th hour of GMA or whatever with Michael Strahan and
Sarah,
the other swirly. Give her the job. I feel about Keke Palmer the way I feel about Nikki Glaser. Like truly talented.
Job well done.
It's not for lack of It's not for lack of talent. It's for lack of opportunity. The fact that she hasn't taken the world by storm.
No, and it's not like a risky bet. Like that she's going to do a good job.
1,000%. What about Andy? Is he gonna? I feel like he's just one of the people they just throw in when you need someone.
Yeah, I feel like
Andy
he has
Cohen.
too much. I feel like you can't do Radio Andy and
Watch What Happens Live.
Like 2 daily shows and then a third. I just don't.
He
think
like
so.
used to host all the time with Kelly Ripa, and she was like,
and I don't think he wants to wake up that early.
Looking for a mate. Yeah, it's so true. 2 young kids.
If there was a job he was going to do, it would have been Kelly Ripa. That's the seat he would have filled.
Yeah.
And he has late nights with Watch What Happens Live. You can't wrap at 11.
Watch What Happens Live is barely live ever anymore.
I feel like it was live last night. They did polls, so yeah, it was live.
Okay, so if they did polls, that's live, but I think they're operating at a once a week live.
Yeah.
Because you can tell when the guest is like posting Instagram stories from like a couple of days before.
Yeah.
Or when they're actually at midnight still in Tribeca. Like you can tell also with the paparazzi pictures, they literally leave the studio in their outfit. It used to be every night there was like paparazzi and people would wait outside. People don't even wait outside anymore because it was filmed at like noon.
Yeah.
So, and that's nice for Andy. It's like a dad. Like it's probably so nice to get home by 5 o'clock. I think he literally keeps 9 to 5 hours.
Yeah. So that would mean no to today's show.
Today.
Anyways.
Also, actually, I think it's hard because a lot of the people that would do this, out of the goodness of their heart as like a friend, like would do it for Hoda, like to do it with Hoda. She's the one who's like friends with everyone, I feel like.
Yeah, but I'm sure
Hollywood.
over the years, Jenna
she has a circle for sure.
Has a circle. And also it's the job a million girls would kill for. So whether or not you know the other girl so well, like I'm sat, we'll get to know each other.
I think the Scarlett Johansson thing is so weird.
Yeah, it's pretty random.
It is. Like, if I was Scarlett Johansson, you literally could not pay me to wake up at 4 a.m. every day for a week for like a thankless job.
I think once she does it, maybe we'll see why she's doing it. Maybe she has, maybe she's like us. Maybe she saw a morning show and like, this is the dream. And it's just like, I think you could live the dream for a week.
I think the theory that you floated that like she has a big project coming out that particular week is brilliant. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. So
and maybe it's like a project she's really passionate about, not like some big movie that doesn't need her to be waking up at 4 a.m. every day.
Yeah. We shall see. But that's the latest. But make a choice soon, Jenna.
What story got the boot?
Twitch drama?
I'm sorry. I can't believe you gave that story the boot. We have to talk about it.
Okay.
Pull it up.
Pull it up.
I actually don't have a lot of thoughts. I'm curious what other people's thoughts are. I never was like into him on Ellen. I didn't watch So You Think You Can Dance. But this is a man and his wife who are like tons of fans on social media from the dance community. And there's like a lot of lore here that I'm not personally a part of, but this is really crazy.
So Steven
And
Twitch.
let me tell you, the way I came to this story was I saw a tweet from Candace Dillard Bissett, former Real Housewife of Potomac, kind of coming for Allison, being like, what are you doing airing this man's dirty drawers?
Right.
She's like, I'm not going to say it, but, and then she said it. I was like, oh, okay. And then I started seeing it everywhere. I'm like, oh, Candace Dillard Bissett was onto something.
So I saw it from Liz Woods because Ben Platt's sister posted. And it took me a while to like orient myself with like, who are these people? Because
Sister-in-law, Ben Platt's brother's wife.
Oh, that like just makes it a little less connected. But still, she's a Platt. Courtney Ann Platt. And so I just had to like orient myself to the story because I didn't really know Twitch. And he's also from Ellen too, which I'm not like an Ellen person. And So You Think You Can Dance. And then a few years ago, he passed away. There was like some mystery like shrouding the circumstances, but also I'm sure as like a measure of protection, it's very personal.
Sort of, but what the public was told, and I believe this is the truth, is that he, suffered with his mental health and took his own life. Mm-hmm. And it was so shocking because him and his wife, but him in particular, like their whole thing was dance and music and love and joy. And it was just like so incongruous with the public facing persona that we knew. And I think a lot of people like took it really hard. He was just kind of this light to a lot of people. And so it did oddly, put a lot of attention on his wife. And they were like a couple on social media together. They posted a lot, but he was the star.
Yeah. So she is writing a memoir and she just started promoting it. It's called This Far, My Story of Love, Loss, and Embracing the Light. She sat down with People magazine and disclosed that to talk about the memoir. And she disclosed that she allegedly discovered a cornucopia of drugs, including mushrooms, pills, and other substances that she had to look up on her phone hidden in his closet. So she's giving very like intimate personal details about his addiction,
and then
drug
that created
use.
like a wave of news stories, everybody picking this up. Well, because there hasn't been a lot of details about his death, and now it's like, well, we're throwing addiction in the mix, and nobody knew that.
Right. And these are very private details. I think even in the book, she's including excerpts from his journal. Like it's getting very personal, especially when I feel like people had a lot of questions when he passed, but have moved on because you recognize like people are going through, and you respect, and he has kids, and 1,000%. She is now putting this all out there, talking about the issues that he had and sharing like very intimate personal things. And so she did her sit down with People magazine in promotion of this memoir, and now People, including Courtney and Platt, who
former friends of his, who
best friend of his.
If you're in the dance community, you like know them.
Also, his brother and his friend, they're all slamming now. Everyone's now coming out who was close to him, like just slamming the wife, the widower.
And sharing like little things about her and their situation since his passing that we might not have known. Kind of how, I believe it was the brother saying that, what's her name? Allison, the wife?
Yeah.
Allison is keeping Twitch's mom from their kids, her grandchildren. Like it's getting really, the fact that so many publicly known, well-known people associated with Twitch, family members, former coworkers, are speaking out publicly. Because I think that if we had done this as a story, we would say like, oh, that's kind of weird she's sharing journal excerpts, but it wouldn't have become like a real thing. It's becoming a big thing because people are literally like other celebrities and other members of his life are calling her out, and then also drawing on the last couple of years of weird behavior, just kind of accusing her of, doing like a little too much press when your husband passes away.
She like changed her name on Instagram 2 days later.
A couple of days later.
His last name.
Like a lot of thirsty behavior, which, at the time, I think maybe a lot of people thought to themselves in private. Like I remember thinking like, oh, that's like really like, she did a People magazine interview or like a cover, like really somewhat recently after, but everybody agrees in their own way. So you would never say it, but you think it to yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
But now we've said it.
No, and now everyone's saying it. So Courtney, who was his friend, said, anyone who knows me knows I go straight to the source during a conflict and handle my business. But since there's clearly no shame in being so public, I haven't said a word in 2 years, but here I go. This is by far the most tacky, classless, opportunistic act I have ever seen in my entire life, she went on. She referenced that that Twitch's friends and family had to sign some weird NDA in order to attend his funeral. She added that Allison, the wife, treated her mother-in-law like garbage this entire time. So that's Twitch's mom. Elsewhere, she said she called her out for smearing his name and attempting to dim the bright, loyal, loving light that was your husband and my friend. You're a living, breathing bulldozer. Stick to your own demons. Shame on you, Allison. Shame on your money-hungry team. Let my friend rest in peace, not your PR.
No, it's really crazy. And everyone like sharing this post, all their members from the Say Yes to the Dress.
His brother reshared it and said, no lies told.
Yeah, and then also somebody else from, I believe, a different family member saying, not only is this classless and tacky, it's also untrue. Basically saying that Twitch smoked weed and that was something that his wife didn't like and they were like actively like arguing about and trying to get him to stop doing, but it wasn't like an addiction to drugs.
Got it.
So that she's also just sort of stretching the truth a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was an accusation someone had made, not me. This is like really crazy.
Yeah, really, really crazy. To go from being like so private, even though there's things that people don't know, like we're not going to share because we're just going to protect his legacy.
Okay. Because that's okay.
To then this, not only she sharing, but then like everyone is like tearing it up. It's actually as public and messy as you could get overnight. It's crazy.
Really sad.
Yeah.
Like, I think this happens so many, you keep things to yourself, like, if you do keep things to yourself, it's always like to protect the kids. That's like what the priority always is. And I think that's why, none of this has happened over the last 2 years. But at a point you like do get to a place where it's like you're actively slandering the legacy of someone. And if it's your brother, like you feel a certain type of way about it. And so I'm all for, keeping family business private, but like, I don't know. I hear them.
Yeah. Yeah.
crazy. But this is also like a blind spot for me in terms of I don't watch So You Think You Can Dance.
Same.
I don't know the players. I can't like judge based on character. I really don't know these people.
I agree, which was why it was 6th.
Booted.
And I was like, maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm sure more stuff is going to come out.
Yeah.
But we talked about it today.
No, I'm glad we talked about it. Let's do TV recap. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. The swirlies were swirling. Jackie and I both caught up on the most recent 2 episodes because I was behind from December. And let me just tell you, I continue to be dazzled by Miss Erica Jane. Like, first of all, Ben was watching. Ben was watching with me, and he was obsessed with her home renovation.
Me too.
Saga. And then I went to her Instagram because this was obviously filmed a year ago. Like, where is the after? I want to see what he did with that cabana.
I didn't go to her Instagram. I went to his Instagram, Martin Lawrence Ballard.
Did you find?
No, not hers. I just wanted to see what his design is like because I just wanted to see what the vibes would be. And he has a collab with Ruggable, so that's exciting. If you like his vibes, you could get an affordable rug with Ruggable. But yeah, no, he seems to be like super legit, and I'm so excited for her. And I was thinking, like, we don't realize it how produced the show is, whereas everyone has to have a storyline every season, and that's why people get made fun of when they have like a boring storyline, like Sutton buying a horse. But obviously Erica's storyline this season is redoing her house and
like her life
and how liberating that is for her. And let me tell you, it's the most interesting story of all time. Like I could go for an hour of it. I know Harley on its face, it's like she's redoing her house. That's your story. Yes.
Who cares?
That's our story.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's like actually makes me emotional for her. Like I'm actually so happy and proud of her. And every time they flash back to like, and what? Like the years of like really crazy things that she went through, and you look at her now and she like, you can tell like she's just even more like stripped back. She wears like less makeup. She's still like fabulous and everything, but she looks so at peace. It's really crazy the journey that she's gone on, and I love her so much.
Yes, me
and
as
she's
well.
such a good friend to Dorit.
And Dorit needs that. And as this season, like Dorit is my number 1. And I watched a little bit of Watch What Happens Live last night, and I was glad to see the audience is like Team Dorit over Sutton and Team Dorit over Kyle at the moment. So I think everyone's rallying around Dorit. And the fact that like Erica's really there for her, I do need her to like, you know,
go a little further.
Yeah, come off the fence a little bit. But
you know who came off the fence?
Bose.
I loved it because I know that she likes Dorit better than she likes Sutton, but she has maintained this like level of neutrality, and even in her confessional, she's like, oh, these women are always fighting. I hate when new housewives do that.
Claudia,
it's like, bitch, you don't know the premise of the show.
I had the same thought, and it's like they never stick around to actually get involved. I'm sure Sutton's first season, she's like, these women are always fighting, and now like you're the one always fighting. But like last season, I forget the name of the other housewife, but she was like always commenting on the fighting, except she did try and get involved and it was premature. But like they always have one out, Jennifer Tilly, always someone commenting on how much these women fight, and then like they don't stick around to like actually see why they're always fighting, and it's like we know they always fight. Thank you, that's the point.
It's the point. But Bose like took her time. She surveyed. She like wanted to get to know people a little bit more. I actually think that was pretty smart of her. And she dipped her toe in. And I thought she was really
and on the right
swift
thing,
with it.
The right, because like Sutton went too far. Everyone could feel it.
1,000%. And she was being so hypocritical in that moment. Like, and that's the thing on the Sprinter van, and then at the cowboy party. It's like you keep making these great declarations of sisterhood while saying like the nastiest shit alive. So how do we reconcile that? And Bose was just pointing out like the hypocrisy. Like seriously, how do you say like sisterhood, and then you go and say something so mean to somebody who's going through something so hard that you've been through, so you know how hard it is. Like you're using it as a weapon. And I don't like weaponize. It's like, well, shut up.
Also, you know what? She didn't like the word violate from Sutton.
Yep.
And
yeah, it reminded me of that. No, not from Sutton. From Crystal.
And in that moment, like it was a strong word, and I think she had success with that line of arguing. Like because I don't
Crystal
like that
was
word.
So dramatic.
I don't like that word. It's too strong. And now she's doing it again. It's like no. You literally textbook weaponized.
Yeah. And I like how she explained it to her like she was stupid. Well, you took something and you fashioned it to hurt someone else. Like
you fashioned it into a weapon.
It was really brilliant. So I love to see Bose getting involved, and I feel like Dorit is really tough. Like she can handle a lot, and she has Erica supporting her, but not vocally. So to have somebody like step in, and this is somebody who I feel like holds power in the group because they're waiting to see like where she falls, and everybody's kind of like kissing her ass a little bit, being like, "We want to get to know Bose too." So try, like invite her over to her home,
right?
Dorit went to her home. Like you have to make a friendship. Happen. It doesn't just like work that way. And so I was really happy to see her getting in there and shaking that thing.
No, same. Dorit has been so strong. And I feel like in the beginning, she was like lashing out at Kyle and it felt kind of like an overreaction. Like she wasn't wrong in how she was feeling, but like it was just like a lot after nothing. And they're fighting over subtleties that we have maybe missed. So it just felt like an overreaction. But I felt like in the last 2 episodes, like she really explained herself so well and had an answer to everything that was like charged at her. Like she's going through a lot. And when she said like, I'm going through a lot, I cannot tolerate like one more piece of bullshit in my life. So yes, like I am angry. Like I felt that. And I feel like she's explaining herself so well and being like just a very strong person. When she chewed up Camille Grammer and spat her out.
Oh my God, that was the greatest moment of my life. Because seriously, when Camille
I was
Grammer
not
started
expecting
talking,
that.
That's probably one of my least favorite tropes, like keeping around random housewives and like they're trying so hard to have a moment. And it was so clear that that's what that was. That conversation, that group of people, it had literally nothing to do. And then Camille's going on about her house burning down, like objection, relevance.
No, and when you zoom out, why was Camille at the party? Why was she in this conversation? Like that's Kyle, and that's Kyle like working behind the scenes to undermine Dorit, and have her bring one more enemy to the table so that she doesn't have to do the heavy lifting. And like that's the shit that Dorit doesn't like that she's trying to tell us about.
And why I'm gravitating so much towards Dorit is because she's actually the only person who speaks and makes sense. Like when Sutton at the Aspen party, I keep saying the Aspen party, the cowgirl party, was just like literally saying words that were not English. It was so frustrating. I feel like Kyle does that a lot too, just talking for the sake of a scene, not because it's how you feel. And so she's making a lot of sense. Every time someone comes for her, I feel like she has a legit rebuttal. And now with this PK thing, I didn't think about it until actually, who was it? I feel like it was Garcelle who stated, like, it's fucking weird.
Yeah. I was trying to, like, as much as, and Erica said this on Watch What Happens Live, like, the texting and the meme sending between them, it's innocent, totally innocent,
yes,
but inappropriate. And I was trying to, like, just put myself in, like, someone else's shoes of, like, two couples that really get along, and if, like, they were all splitting, if the man and the woman, like, were still communicating at all, like, how wrong that would be. And when, at the end of the day, like, I want to fast forward to when Dorit and Mauricio get together because that's how this story ends.
Kyle in her confessional saying that like PK has been a better friend to me than Dorit has. Like that's
while
really
also
crazy.
saying at the table that no matter what happens, I'm going to take Dorit's side because I'm a girl's girl, and then going and saying, well, PK's a better friend to me. So like you wouldn't take Dorit's side then.
She said a couple of things that were so crazy. She took a picture with Kesha and was like, oh no, I'm taking a picture with a musician. Let the rumors start. As if the only thing she did was take a picture with Morgan Wade. She had a full-blown relationship.
No, her confessionals.
That was so crazy.
Oftentimes when I'm watching her confessionals, like I get a really like weird vibe. Last night too, there was like her confessionals were just like not hitting for me.
No, it was really like not her gaslighting us that like that whole saga didn't happen.
Yeah.
The whole relationship didn't happen.
That they weren't kissing in the music video.
And now like they
maybe
don't
if you
talk.
were kissing Kesha in the music video, like yeah, there might be rumors. Yes.
No, now her and Morgan Wade don't talk. Oh, because you broke up. Like it's just like the gaslighting. I don't remember it going down that way.
Right. That is really funny.
I just love Erica. Like
no, I know, same. And then I just wanted to mention.
Oh my God, that story Garcelle told about
her
Oliver.
Wow.
I was shocked because I was getting to the point where I'm like, I feel like of all the personal stories, we're getting so much Garcelle, like family, personal, work, and it was like kind of getting boring. And then they sat down for dinner at a beach house. And then
I actually like the beach house story.
When she was telling that story about Oliver, oh my God, like I was clutching my pearls. I was like, holy shit, that's such a crazy story.
Yeah, and she's always alluded to like haven't had the best relationship, which, you know, could mean a million things. Mm-hmm. So her sharing that now was really crazy. But I did really like seeing how far she's come, how much the beach house means to her entire family. Like I actually, I really, really liked it, even though when it comes to her role with the women, like she's on
the wrong side of history.
Diametrically opposed to where I stand.
Yeah.
Also, someone said, I forget who it was, but like Sutton for the last 3 seasons has always been beefing with the person who is going through a hard time. And then the following season, she's like, I was too hard on you. I should have been a better friend. I'm sorry. Like,
so true.
That's literally what she's doing right now to Dorit. Last season it was Kyle. The season before it was Erica. Excusez-moi.
Yeah, because I think at first it came as like, especially with Erica, we all had a lot of questions. So we were kind of like, thank you, Sutton. Like the only person who's asking like what we all want to know. Like, did you know? LA Times, like all that stuff.
I do think maybe
now-
she was emboldened by that because
Yes.
she was like, oh, the viewers want me asking these
Glinda emboldened him.
I almost went down like that path.
And Glinda helped it come true. We deserve each other, me and Bach.
Glinda emboldened him. The audience has emboldened Sutton to think that we want her prosecuting everything when someone's going through it. So just like the violation, that was a strong word. She interrogated Erica, then she interrogated Kyle. And you know what? With Kyle, we did have some questions. And I do think at the time, like she was being a bad friend, but viewers felt like she was the voice of the people. I feel
like Dorit has been so open with us.
Oh my God, she goes into
drinking.
No, literally.
The separation. I actually don't need an investigation. As an audience member, I feel like Dorit has been incredibly forthcoming.
No, she's been so forthcoming to the point of like, oh my gosh, it's shining a light on how non-forthcoming people are. They go to 4-hour therapy and she comes out and tells everything that went on the inside. Like, I feel like people
it's actually so
act
true.
like Dorit acts like her life is perfect when she's literally sharing everything as it happens.
There were so many questions around Kyle, not only her divorce with Mauricio, but the Morgan Wade of it all. And she was like acting really weird. And so the questions were justified. For Erica, there was so many questions, but she was so limited in what she could say. So that must have been so fucking frustrating for her. But this, like, I have no further questions. And if I did, I would ask Dorit directly and she would tell me.
So I do think that's why Sutton always finds herself beefing with the person who's going through it because she thinks she's the voice of the people. And
no, and by the way, her role as a housewife, like, is necessary.
Yeah, someone asked.
It doesn't make her popular amongst the group.
But in this situation, like, I actually don't have questions that I need one of the women. Like, Dorit is answering every single thing, and she will speak more when she's talking to someone who's being kind to her versus someone who is just being nasty to her. Like, she's just have lunch with her and you'll get all the information.
You know, it was like such an annoying Sutton moment, like when they all arrived at the Pride party and Bose arrives, and like the first thing she says, oh, Sutton's like, I like your bracelet. Are you going to use it as a weapon?
Cringe.
Like, shut up. Like, you thought you slayed the house down boots, and now I just, like, I feel uncomfortable.
No, and, like, I think she, like, felt the weirdness, too, so she, like, buttoned it up by saying, well, I think we all need a drink first. Like, that's what you say when you have nothing left to say, when you've made things weird.
Yikes.
It was just, like, Akko.
No, okay.
And I also want to shout out Dorit's daughter, who is a burgeoning ballerina, because I saw over the break that Phoenix was the lead in the Nutcracker and Wizard of Oz on the same day. And PK and Dorit were both posting a lot of videos of her. And usually I'm like, okay, I don't care about your kids' like musical theater.
Extracurriculars.
But Phoenix is a star. We saw a little bit of her dancing on the show. You could tell Dorit's so proud. Like, she's one to watch.
Both of her kids are very sweet. And look, she's really, oh my God, that thing at the end, like where she's like, listen, do you know how hard it is for me to like know you're talking to my husband, Kyle, when I can barely get in touch with him? We're trying to co-parent while also shield the kids because we don't know if we're going to end up getting divorced. Well, you can't shield the kids forever. Sutton, shut up.
Like, I didn't say I'm shielding the kids
forever. She didn't say
forever.
she was. And two, like, I think it's perfectly reasonable to want to shield your kids from your separation. A lot of people get back together. So it's like, to torture the kids for what? And they're super young. Like, it's so reasonable. And I feel like she's doing everything she can. Like, go to tennis, go to ballet, put your sunscreen on. Like, she's working so hard and everybody's just bothering me. Like, leave her alone.
Yeah. No, it's so crazy. And you could see,
well, even you can't shield them forever.
You could see in her physical appearance how she's like changing through the season.
Yeah, she looks like weathered too.
And like very slim. She's always been slim, but just like skinnier than ever. And why more people aren't just being compassionate for her when literally every person in this group is divorced and has been through it. Like, and now's not the time.
No, the only person like being compassionate is Bose and Erica. And like, that's my team. When they were sitting on one side of the couch, it was giving Dweem team. It's like literally giving Yolanda, Lisa, and Brandy.
It is the Dweem team.
It is. Dweem team. All right, you guys, that is our show. A nice long one for you. Thank you so much for listening to The Toast, the Melania Morning Show, where we deliver the fast 5 stories you need to know every Monday through Friday on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. We're also available as podcasts anywhere podcasts can be found. That's Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Public Radio, iHeartRadio, CastBox, all the places where listen to podcasts. So Toast, leave a 5-star review. Had a beautiful setting, and goodly talented we are.
Love ya. Bye.